Hello there and welcome back to Japan, and specifically welcome back to the rather dangerous territory of reviewing One OK Rock, a band who I actually quite like. But if you've been a regular on this channel for a while, you may know that for all the bands that we've covered, One OK Rock are the one that I got the most stick on, most thumbs down for reviewing a couple of their songs before. So I'm going to give you a quick disclaimer, because it seemed that the reason for this was because people genuinely thought that it was done in bad faith. So here's just a few thoughts on what I think about One OK Rock going into this. First of all, I do actually own some One OK Rock CDs. I'm not completely averse to them. I've heard songs that I've enjoyed, I've bought their CDs. I think that they're actually pretty good at what they do. I also think that a lot of fans apparently have turned against them for going more poppy, or at least have been verbally bashing them for going more poppy. I have no problem with a band going poppy at all. I think, most bands start rocky because that's the sound when you're sitting in your garage at home making music. That's the sound that you're more likely to come up with. It's not to say there's anything wrong with rock, but it does mean that some bands may choose to say, well, now we've got access to more production and more different methods, we want to do something more poppy. And so long as you're being creative, that's the big thing. You can be creative in rock and in pop. Anyone who tells you can't be creative in any particular genre doesn't know what they're talking about. Anything can be made creatively, so I've got no problem with them at all. However, on the flip side, just before anyone, misconceives what I'm saying, I think Taka, the singer, has got a great voice. I don't think, as many people seem to claim, he has the greatest voice of a generation or anything like that. I think he's a very good singer. But when people sort of say, oh, you said something about the performance that was negative, therefore here's a thumbs down. Give me thumbs downs all day if you want, but them's is my opinions. So this is a band who I really like, but the whole point of this channel is that we're critical when necessary. So now that I have protected myself against all opinions, and probably alienated a lot of people who are thinking, what on earth is he going on about? Let's check out We Are. This is the official video from Ambition's Japan Tour, which sounds like a very positive name for a tour. The official video is a live video, therefore. But anyway, let's jump in on this, and I'm looking forward to hearing something big and spectacular, because with their level of fame, size should be an easy thing to achieve. So what do they do with this grand scale? Let's check this out. This is We Are.
Sorry, they push us. It's too late. It's too late.
It's very simple but very powerful. I really like the way they're sort of presenting it. It's all about wall of sound blasting energy, but it sounds very full despite having quite a thin selection of sounds. It's really nice and impactful. That bit was sampled in a Hollywood Undead song, I'm pretty sure of that. Random fact. Remember, music videos these days are all about getting you to buy a live ticket. I'm not exactly the guitar solo person, but now feels like a time for a guitar solo or something. There we go. We got 40 seconds left. Is it going to be the loud play out? I think it is. Okay, so I think that's going to wrap up now. A little bit of religious imagery here and there. I mean, yeah, basically to give off the cuff initial opinion, yes, I did like that. I like that a lot more than I think the last couple of songs I've heard by One OK Rock. And yeah, I can also imagine why that song would probably be, just my guess would be one that would probably be targeted as not everyone's favourite. The main things that I liked about that was the fact that it had a simple quality, a simple catchiness that some songs like this, it can be a big band song and it can be huge, but realistically when you break it down to it, it's kind of a campfire song, and that's what this is. This is the sort of song where there's nothing so complicated happening musical that you couldn't just emulate it on an acoustic guitar, one acoustic guitar and a vocalist, and you could have this done. So I'm pretty sure Taka could perform a very convincing full arrangement of this just on his own with an acoustic guitar, and probably has for all I know. It had that quality where it seemed to just be about being catchy, direct, and sing-alongable, which is probably why it was a good selection for a live video. If you're going to do a live video, that's the kind of song you want. And in that quality, yeah, I think it was brilliant. I think it was brilliant at doing that. However, it's not without any criticism. The whole point of this channel is that we say what we think honestly, even if you press thumbs down, and virtually nothing in this world is perfect, so what's the point of me just sitting here going, oh, that's brilliant, bye-bye? No. So I'm going to tell you what I think perhaps didn't work in that as well before we come full circle on this one. I think the musicianship, I get that for the best part it had to be simple. That's what worked. I mean, straight from that first bit where it comes in blasting and you've got the sort of snare drums leading things, I get that has to be simple. There could have been more done in like the verses. I felt the verses, everything was thrown on Taka's lap and he was made to do the steering the whole direction of the song during the verses, and there was room for more to happen instrumentally. I was especially amused when you saw the bass guitarist who's got like a 5 or 6 or 19 string bass guitar, and I'm thinking you're only using one of those strings by the look of it, by the sound of it at least. Maybe in other songs he's using all of that, but I thought that was so bizarre to see him with all these strings when realistically not much was happening there. Like I say, for the focus of the song, not much needed to happen, but you know, little details, little intricacies. A lot of the time we say on this channel that one of the things that separates Japanese bands from a lot of their Western counterparts is whereas a lot of Western bands tend to just sort of like, they write a good song and they play a good song. Japanese band will write a good song and they'll sit there painting over adding details, but not too much, like just the right details, little things to accentuate stuff. That sort of rewrite and attention quality is a lot of what makes Japanese bands often stand out. And this kind of felt like it didn't have that. As I say, it didn't mean that it didn't stop it working. I just felt like there was more room for them to do stuff in perhaps the verses. The chorus were just all about full-on blast, so keeping it simple was the best thing to do. And also there was a lack of a particularly interesting bridge. I mean, the guitar solo was there, and the guitar solo had a good element of passion and feeling, and I liked it. I'm not all about, as you guys probably know if you've been around this channel for a while, I'm not all about sort of over twiddling, so I had no problem with it being sort of a simple but passionate solo. It was interesting though that it came in after sort of like 4 bars or 4 or more bars of just kind of not much happening. So there were gaps in this song where I felt like they could have creatively done more with it. Like, like I say, I'm not saying that the song needed to be like that all the way through, but there were places where they could have done it. Considering this is a 5-minute 40 video, and if you take away sort of the intro and the exit, I mean, the song on the album must be best part of 5 minutes, like 4.5 minutes at least. So it does kind of make you think, all right, with a song this length, there is room to put in more. So yeah, I feel it wasn't the most optimized bit of writing, but it worked as what it was meant to be and clearly was very engaging. It did suit Taka's voice a lot better than some of the other songs I've heard him sing. This one just seemed to really sort of suit his sort of blasting sound. He really captured it well, and like I say, he was leading it a lot in the verses. He was steering things when the rest of the band perhaps was not doing that much. So simple and effective is what I would say, but not without areas where I imagine they could have done more. And I think that probably came the most clear to me by the fact that when we got to the last chorus, the big crescendo, I was starting to get a little bit bored of it. I don't mean bored as in, oh, this is awful. I mean just kind of like that engagement level that I had at the beginning had started to taper away. I was less engaged at the end than I was at the beginning, whereas with a build-up to a crescendo, you should be more engaged at the end. And I think the reason for that was not the fault of the chorus. I think the reason for that was the fault of the verses and the bridge. Because the chorus was so big, but the bits in between, those verses and the bridge, they in themselves didn't do enough to build you up to the choruses. They just kind of felt like filler in between. I think that's probably the best way of wording it. Lyrically, I'm sure I didn't really get the lyrics 100%, but I'm sure there was something interesting happening with the lyrics. I know that he's very careful with the lyrics he sort of puts down, but nothing really happened enough to throw you into it. And like I say, when you got to that bridge bit, fair enough having a solo, but what was happening underneath the solo was not interesting. It was just kind of more of the same. And so yeah, actually the more I think about it, I think that is my biggest charge with this song. My biggest problem with this song is that it had the hook, it had the blasting element, but it didn't seem to know how to contrast that in a way that complemented it. I think that chorus would have sounded even bigger and even more effective if there had been correct contrast between it and everything else that was happening in the song. So good, yeah, good song. Definitely if you want something big, simple, passionate, sing-alongable, just to sort of whisk you away in that kind of manner, then this is a great choice of song. I do, however, think that a band at this level of fame and with their level of musicianship, they're no slackers. They can certainly, can certainly plough up a storm. I just felt like there was more that could be done there. I do wonder, I mean, like we said, when we talk about them going over to a more poppy sound and trying to appeal to more of an international audience, you do wonder what compromises have been made, maybe between them or with the executive producers, or maybe they're trying to make their sound fit something a little bit more. You know, they want to do pop, but they want to do a pop that will appeal to an international audience. It's hard to know whether sometimes some of these creative qualms come down to them trying to do this sort of thing, or whether that's just the way they wanted the song to be. You'd be surprised how powerful a producer or an executive producer can be on filtering out those sounds if you're crossing over to a different market. So, or maybe you wouldn't be, but still, I wouldn't be surprised if someone else had their hand in this one, just sort of, you know, simplifying things for the band to make them a little bit more radio friendly. But I can't confirm that. I don't know that. I would like to think that was the case, considering, like I say, I'm sure they could write more detail into it. However, the final conclusion is that, let's face it, a song like this is about the chorus. That's what it's really there for. It's for the impact. It's for the chorus. It's for that bit where everyone can blast out their emotions and sing along with their favourite band, or at least a band they like. So, in that case, yeah, it's a real winner. Could have been done better, but real winner. And the video was just like every live video. It's just live video with a little bit of Jesus imagery thrown in here and there. Yes, they do like that in live videos, don't they? Like the occasional hero worship Jesus imagery, you know, have the lights blasting out from him in a cross shape, and, you know, let's hold the slow motion whenever he does a slightly crucifixy pose. So yeah, fair enough. No discredit to the band, therefore, just in case anyone, you know, jumping on the thumbs down right now. I get the feeling that the producers probably didn't push them enough, and that the video was a little bit, just let's do a live video to promote ticket sales. A little bit of a commercial element sort of creeping in there, but as a band, like I say, they performed it nicely. I just wish I'd heard a little bit more. Anyway, enough waffle from me. I've been talking for a quarter of an hour now. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can, like I say, you can press thumbs down if you want, but you better get in the comments and discuss it with us. But for now, from Japan, ciao ciao.